All right, weather, this is lab 9, this is part 3, and we're going to work on question 6. Question 6 is talking about naming an air mass or a front by its properties. And the first part of the property will be written in a little lowercase c or a little lowercase m, and it stands for how the air mass is developed. If it comes off the land, then it's called continental, and it gets a lowercase c. If it comes off the ocean, it's called maritime, and it gets a lowercase m. So that's the first letter abbreviation that you can get. The second letter abbreviation that you can get is an A, a P, a T, or an E. The A is for Arctic, the P for polar, T for tropical, and E for equatorial. And this has to do with latitudes. If the air mass is coming off of something that's between 0 and 20 degrees north-south latitude, it's equatorial. If it's coming off of about 20 degrees to about 45 degrees north-south latitude, it's tropical. If it's coming off at 45 degrees north latitude to about 65 degrees north latitude, it's polar. And if it's coming off from 65 degrees to about 90 degrees, it's Arctic. So that makes this pretty easy. I'm looking at the United States. I can see it here, and I can kind of see the dividing line between my 35-degree mark here, which means everything from here down is going to be in tropical because the equator is way down here. So that's, these guys are still above the 20 mark. So, and everybody here is going to be polar, except for this little guy way up here. It's going to be Arctic. And the other thing to remember is way up in the Arctic, even though it's water up there, it tends to be called continental because it's going to form over the Arctic sea ice. So there's going to be an ice mass that's packed on here. So it's going to be too cold for it to act like a liquid, wet, moist environment. So we're going to call it a CA. So that gives me some abbreviations. So in the bubble, I can say continental CA. This is the only tricky one. Everybody else makes sense. This is off the water. So it's M, and it's a capital P. Right here, this is off the land. Lowercase c, capital P for my polar. You guys should be able to do the rest. This is one of those easy parts of the exercise. This next page is all about front shape, and they're showing you an occluded front, so a mixed front of warm and cold. They're showing you the symbols for a warm front, which kind of look like little sun spikes, right, in there. So they have our warm mass to our cold mass. And, oh, did I just misspeak? Yes, I did. This is a cold front. That's my misspeak. They look like icicles. I don't know what I'm saying. These are the icicles for a cold front. I apologize. This is the half suns for a warm front. So right here, this is the cold front. This guy's a warm front. And we can see that with our little temperature readings. This guy's 50 degrees. That's cold. This one over here is 70. This one's 68. Those are warm. So it just makes sense. They point to the direction that they're going. So the air masses are back here behind it, and they're pointing in the direction that they're going. Which brings us to the trickiest of them all. Exercise 7 is a incredibly slow exercise, and you're going to put a lot of points on here. This map is going to take you a while, so take your time. Do it in pencil, highlight in colored pencils after you're done, and just work slow. The first part is they want you to create those isobar lines, and they want you to do it based on isobars of pressure. They tell you to start at 104 and go up from there. So we have our labelings. So part A of this is going to take you a long time. To add to that, in our symbols, we're going to look at these to create those isobar lines of pressure. So these dividing lines. But we have to remember that there's going to be 10s and 9s in front. So this is 0, 9, 6. This is going to be 10 in front. So that's 1,009.6. This is 1,008.4. This is 1,015. I forget what that number, I can't see it on my little image because I wrote over it. This one's 1,013.2. My example. So this is going to take us a while. If you need to, write really small and write in your 10s so that you can see what you're doing. I also like to take my time and figure out where I'm going to start. To help you out, start at 1,004. That's going to be your smallest number, and it's going to start out as a circle somewhere in the middle. So this right here is 1,004 on the, this is 1,000.4, right? This is there. So that is that number. This one's greater than next to it here, so that's not going in. This one's smaller. This is 1,002.9. This one's 1,002.4. This one's 1,002.6. And I think that's it. I'm going to just double once it over. All right, so my first line is going to be my 1,004, and this is going to be awful hard with my little bulbous thing to write this well. I'm going to draw my line through my 1,004 because it is that number, and I'm going to go around my lines that are less than, right? Did I get all my station maps in? So, no, I think this one's attached to this dot out here, so I'm going to have to redraw it to get that in my station map, right? And then I'm going to label my line. So I'll write it real small, 1,004. Next one will be 1,008 because they told us to go up by 4 millibars. So anything greater than 1,008, so this is too big. That one's too big. This one was small enough, so that station's going to go in. This is 1,006, so that's going in. This one's 1,007.5. That's 1,009. That's too big. All right, so that's about our sizes. So I'm going to draw in our 1,008. Remember, these two are too big above. This one's too big, but this station is in, and this station is in. And then I will label this at 1,008 millibars. So go slow, label all your bars of pressure through here, and then you can move on to the question B, which will be your lowest pressure on the map. You're going to put your capital L, which you can already see is going to be right here because that's your smallest. You're working your numbers up by 4 millibars. Then from there, you're going to draw in your cold front, and you'll kind of see that where your temperatures will be, and you'll get to draw those in, and you might have them be somewhere out here. And then you put your little icicles on the front, right? And you're going to look for your warm front, which might be somewhere in here, and you're going to put your little warm front in on there, and then you're going to name them. So your warm front is going to be a maritime tropical, right? And your cold front will be your continental polar as you go through. And then your cloud cover, remember that's how covered these dots are. You're going to give them some shading. So here I've got a lot of cloud cover. Imagine I am doing this lighter. Here I got some cloud cover, right? Here I've got some cloud cover. So you're going to outline areas and shade areas of precipitation. So pretend I have other shadiness that I can do, and I'm going to really shade all the ones with the double dots because that's where it's raining, right? Which is right here where there's like a storm. So pretend you're doing it light so that you can see it very lightly done in here, nice and calm. Don't make it scribbly so you can't read it. Keep everything light with the pencil. I just don't have that ability with this program. So work slow. Remember to use pencil, and then you can highlight later so that you can keep everything nice and clean. And this would be a good place to stop on these maps for today's lab. And we'll work on the next section in the next lab.